You cannot ignore debt and expect peace, because God never designed your soul to live under the weight of financial chains that quietly steal your joy, your sleep, and your faith at the same time. Debt is not just a number, it is a pressure, a voice that whispers fear into your future. And the shocking truth is that the Bible speaks about debt not only as a financial issue, but as a spiritual warning. Because Proverbs 22:7 says the borrower is servant to the lender. And that word, servant, is not casual language. It is a warning about control, about ownership, about the hidden reality that when you owe too much, your choices are no longer fully your own. And this is why financial stress often feels like spiritual exhaustion, because you are not just fighting bills, you are fighting fear, shame, and the silent belief that you are trapped. But God never speaks to trapped people. He speaks to free people, which means if debt is making you feel trapped, then something is out of alignment with the life God wants you to live. And here is the first hidden truth many people ignore. Debt often begins not as a money problem, but as a heart problem. Because Luke 16:11 suggests that how you handle worldly wealth is connected to spiritual responsibility. Meaning money is not just money. It is a test of discipline, patience, and trust. And many people secretly fall into debt, not because they are poor, but because they are pressured. Pressured to look successful, pressured to live like others, pressured to prove something. And that pressure leads to decisions made in emotion instead of wisdom. And Proverbs 21:5 quietly reveals a powerful secret, that the plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty, which means rushing into financial decisions, impulsive buying, emotional spending, and trying to live a life God never told you to live will slowly create a financial storm that feels like it came out of nowhere. But it didn't come from nowhere. It came from small daily decisions. And this is why financial stress feels so heavy, because it is not just about money leaving your account. It is about peace leaving your mind. And God cares about your peace more than your possessions, which leads to the second shocking truth. God is more concerned about who you become through financial pressure than the money itself. Because Romans 5:3-4 shows that pressure produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope, which means financial stress can either break you or build you. And many chosen people go through seasons where money feels tight. Not because God abandoned them, but because God is teaching them how to live with discipline, how to say no, how to plan, how to depend on Him instead of depending on credit. Because credit makes you feel powerful today, but enslaved tomorrow. While God's way often feels slow today, but peaceful tomorrow. And this is why Proverbs 13:11 says, "Wealth gained quickly will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it," which is completely opposite of the world system that tells you to get rich fast, buy now, pay later, live above your means, and figure it out later. And that system is the exact system that creates lifelong stress. And here is the third hidden truth that many people never realize. Financial stress often reveals what you truly believe about God, because when money gets tight, fear gets loud. And Matthew 6:24 reminds you that you cannot serve both God and money, because one will always control your decisions, your emotions, and your focus. And financial stress is often the warning sign that money has taken a place in your heart that only God was supposed to have. Because when God is your provider, you plan, but you do not panic. You work, but you do not worship money. You save, but you do not live in fear. And Philippians 4:19 does not say God will give you everything you want. It says God will supply your needs, which means there is a difference between God's provision and your lifestyle. And many people are stressed not because God is not providing, but because they are trying to maintain a lifestyle that God never provided for. And that creates a constant cycle of earning, owing, stressing, and repeating. And that cycle quietly steals your life years without you realizing it. And this leads to a powerful but uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the blessing is not more money. Sometimes the blessing is learning to live with less, because Hebrews 13:5 says, "Be content with what you have." Because God has said, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you," which reveals a mystery most people miss. Contentment is not a financial condition. It is a spiritual condition. And a person with little and peace is richer than a person with much and anxiety. And that is not poetic language. That is a spiritual law. Because anxiety is expensive, stress is expensive, lack of sleep is expensive, broken relationships over money are expensive, and God's wisdom is designed to make you free, not just financially, but mentally and spiritually. And this brings you to the fourth hidden insight. Getting out of debt is not just a financial decision, it is a spiritual decision, because it requires humility to admit mistakes, discipline to change habits, patience to go slow, and faith to believe that small steps matter. And Galatians 6:7 quietly warns that a person reaps what they sow, which means debt does not disappear by wishing. It disappears by changing habits, changing priorities, changing what you think you need. And many people pray for financial miracles while continuing the same spending patterns that created the problem. And that is why the miracle they actually need is not money falling from the sky, but wisdom entering their mind. Because Proverbs 3:9-10 talks about honoring God with your finances, which is not just about giving, it is about putting God first in your financial decisions, which means you stop asking, "What do I want?" and start asking, "What is wise?" And that one question can change your entire financial future, because wisdom prevents problems that prayer alone sometimes does not remove. And here is the final and most important truth, the one most people never hear. God is not measuring you by how much money you have, but by how faithful you are with what you have. Because Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever is faithful with little will be faithful with much." And that means your current financial situation is not just a situation. It is a test of stewardship, a test of discipline, a test of trust, and a test of obedience. And if you pass the test, you do not just gain money. You gain freedom, peace, and control over your life again. But if you ignore the lesson, the stress will repeat in different forms, again and again. And this is why debt and financial stress are not just numbers and bills. They are warnings, teachers, and sometimes even redirections from God, pushing you to become wiser, calmer, more disciplined, and less dependent on the world's system. Because the world teaches consumption, but God teaches stewardship. The world teaches appearance, but God teaches contentment. The world teaches speed, but God teaches patience. And if you truly understand what God says about debt and financial stress, you will realize this is not just about money. This is about freedom. Because the goal is not just to be rich. The goal is to be free. Free from fear. Free from pressure. Free from the need to prove anything to anyone. And when you finally reach that point where you owe less, need less, and trust God more, you will discover something shocking that most people never understand until it is too late. Peace is more valuable than income. Freedom is more valuable than lifestyle. And a life without constant financial fear is one of the greatest blessings God can give a person. But only those who are willing to change, to learn, to be disciplined and to trust Him more than money will ever experience that kind of life. Thank you for watching. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to support me. If you want to receive more messages to strengthen your faith, please subscribe and walk with me in the truth of the Lord.